It's like a scene out of the movie, like The Day After Tomorrow.
Winds whipping, snow blowing. Old man Winter tightening his grip on the Sooner State.
In Enid, Christine Stanwood.
I'm Dylan Richards in downtown OKC.
Reporting in Midwest City.
Reporting in Shawnee.
KOCO bringing you full team coverage across the state for the last 15 hours.
I don't know how you can get much more frozen than that.
Major water problems caused by freezing temps. Parts of the Turner Turnpike brought to a screeching halt by an 8-vehicle crash.
And we're not done yet. Another winter storm now headed this way. How much more snow you can expect to see this Tuesday night?
Live, local, late breaking. This is KOCO 5 News at 10.
More than 7 inches of snow falling since this storm moved in early this morning. Good evening to you. I'm Jessica Shambach. Our chief meteorologist, Damon Lane, and the entire First Alert Storm team out on the streets to bring you the latest. Damon, Oklahoma getting ready to get hit with more snow.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're not done with the snow yet. Still finding some light snow still spreading up from Stillwater, Guthrie across Oklahoma City. It's been taking a while for this snow to wrap up. It's still with us. As you can see right now, some of the heavier snow stretching from the village as you make your way down towards the airport. That's where we find field meteorologist Michael Armstrong in Storm Command. Michael, here it is right now after 10 p.m. and it is still snowing. Give us an update, Michael, with what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, we're looking at the intersection just off of I-240 and Penn right now here on the southwest side of the metro. And what you're seeing, look at this, snow continues to fall even here at 10 o'clock tonight. You can see it clearly there on my 360 camera. And the side roads and some of these intersections, Damon, they are just rough. They are snow-packed, and I've seen a lot of vehicles getting stuck and needing help to be pushed out. I've seen a lot of good Samaritans. They're getting out and helping people. Some trucks out there with tow straps and chains that have been helping people as well. Even the fire department, as you saw there in the 9 o'clock show just about an hour ago, helping people as well. But, some are able to get around okay, but some are really, really struggling tonight.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And, it's been snowing since about 3 o'clock this morning, and our snow totals have really just been all over the place. Some parts out across northern Oklahoma, Ponca City, 8 inches. Had some reports across near Stillwater of about 8 inches as well. Here in Oklahoma City, we've had lots of 7-inch reports coming in. And then some will say, well, we don't have that much snow. I can still see the grass outside. But it doesn't snow in Oklahoma for 15 hours and you only get 2 inches. That snow has been blowing all over the place, and it still continues this evening. Although the intensity is now coming down, you can see some of that drier air coming in across eastern parts of Oklahoma County. We have Mark Fricklin down in Chickasha right now. You can see Nick there and Moore and Buck out across northwestern parts up near the right along the turnpike. But at least this snow is showing signs of slowly weakening. I don't expect at least to get a whole lot of more snow out of this from Shawnee towards Tecumseh, St. Louis, Seminole, down towards Kanawha, Sassacua, and Holdenville. You can see some of that drier air now spreading up to the north. But what we are now seeing as we pull on out here is that there's now yet another band of snow that's now taking shape from Amarillo towards Clarendon, Memphis, and Childress, Texas. And that is now spreading up and towards Elk City, Hollis, Altus, and Hobart. And at this current track right now, it's going to continue to make its way up to the northeast and will likely move into Oklahoma City with up to yet another 1 to 1.5 inches of snow. So again, some of these areas that have picked up a good amount of snow and some areas not so much, but we're going to continue to at least add a little bit more snow while a lot of us are sleeping tonight. Certainly has been a very active storm, and we have one more storm. Hopefully it is the last one before winter wraps up, but it comes in here the day after tomorrow. The timeline and how much snow you can now expect coming up. Jess?
All right, we'll talk to you again soon. Damon, thank you. And this was one of the worst accidents we've seen today. The Turner Turnpike near Luther shut down for several hours today. Emergency crews responding to an 8-vehicle crash, and that included 4 semi-trucks. We know now that the eastbound lanes are open. The westbound lanes, though, expected to be closed for about 2 more hours. Oklahoma City fire officials saying that 4 people were taken to the hospital as well. We understand no one was killed in this fiery crash. There was a fire that went on for hours. You see the thick smoke here. Jones, Luther, Edmond fire departments all responding to that scene to help out Oklahoma City Fire Department as well as the Highway Patrol. And KOCO 5 bringing you full team coverage of the big freeze and snowstorm. Our Evan Onstadt had an eventful day in northwest Oklahoma City. Evan, live tonight near the Kilpatrick Turnpike and Hefner Parkway. All right, Evan, so just give us an update. What's the latest out there where you are?
Well, you can still feel that wind blowing pretty good out of the north right now, Jess. And temperature obviously extremely cold. Snow, not so much a big deal. I've spent half the night trying to figure out if it was really snowing hard or if it was just snow blowing off the roofs of these buildings. That's the kind of weather that we're dealing with right now. It's so sporadic. You can't tell if it's deep snow or no snow on the ground because of the wind and because of the light nature of that snow. And it's that sort of sporadic nature, the not being sure of things, that is getting people in trouble. It's not just those huge wrecks like we saw, but it's also these small little problems that people are running into. I spent so much time, Dan, our photojournalist, and I, digging people out and pushing them around. I mean, there were 5 different cars that we pushed out just here in this parking lot of a local hotel. And it's just people running into problems, not even realizing the danger that they're going to be in. I spoke to one of them, a nurse who is from Purcell. She drove up to OKC for a shift and then stuck around this afternoon to pick up an extra shift and help out.
So you driving home in the morning then?
No, I'll go to work in the morning
And then,
drive home tomorrow evening, hopefully.
all right.
We'll see.
Thanks.
Yeah, hopefully he's right. We're all hoping that these road conditions improve right now. Obviously, the snow is still coming down. The wind is continuing. It's certainly cold, so it's not going to melt anytime soon. And so that is the danger that everybody's finding. We are here, obviously, the Kilpatrick Turnpike, the Hefner Parkway, these huge overpasses. Not really a big problem that we've seen so far today. People have been going slow, but they've been going steady and just trying to limit as much time out on the roads as possible. Jess, back to you.
All right, Evan Onstadt live tonight for us in Oklahoma City. And a major water outage affecting a large part of OKC. Freezing temperatures causing some big problems at a water treatment plant. In fact, we heard from so many of you writing in to tell us that you're either without water or you just don't have any water pressure. Our Dylan Richards has been tracking this very closely for us for the last several hours now. And Dylan, we've just learned that the plant is now back up and running.
Yeah, just in the late evening here, the city telling us that the Lake Stanley Draper water treatment plant has been repaired. They were having problems with, you guessed it, the very, very low temperatures causing problems over there, but they have been able to repair the issues in that area. And folks, water pressure and water service should already be returning and should continue to return over the next few hours. Those highly unusual, extended, bone-chilling temperatures causing those problems here at the Lake Stanley Draper treatment plant. OKC Utilities spokesperson Jennifer McClintock saying the lines, not actually water mains.
These are actually smaller lines that are much smaller in diameter, and they are part of the actual treatment process, but they're also buried in the ground, much like our infrastructure and our water mains are.
That's a labor-intensive process to get those lines warm again.
We're down there doing everything that we can to literally put heaters in the ground to get those lines heated back up so we can get everyone back up on service.
Problems reported across South OKC and other areas. The city of Moore saying it redirected its water supply, so most of the city didn't have issues. This problem highly unusual. And over the next couple of hours, that service should be restored. In Oklahoma City, Dylan Richards, KOCO 5 News, back to you.
Okay, Dylan, thank you so much. The storm hitting Oklahoma hard tonight. OKC and the surrounding cities facing streets and highways covered in snow. KOCO's Paris Jones live right now in Midwest City. And Paris, some people braved getting behind the wheel.
Jess, that's right. We're live in Midwest City, like you said, near I-40 and Sooner Road. And this is just one of those areas where people are out throughout the day, taking it slow, of course. But we have seen a few cars out and on the interstate as well. And right now the snow has stopped, but earlier today that was not the case. Winds gusting throughout the day and several inches of snow coming down, leaving crews in Midwest City with a busy day of plowing snow. Many of the normal high traffic areas turn white and some parking lots no longer recognizable because of the amount of snowfall. Residential neighborhoods covered, making it a little more difficult to maneuver through than the streets that were plowed. Drivers had to cut down their speeds trying to make it through the city, especially once the snow and wind picked up mid-afternoon. Several vehicles having trouble making turns, some even getting stuck like this one near Reno and South Air Depot. Luckily, our photographer and another Good Samaritan were there to help push that car to safety. Over on I-40, snow covering an entire lane on both sides of the interstate, traffic moving smooth for most of the day. And just a quick reminder for those of you living in Midwest City, the trash and recycle has been canceled for tomorrow. They're going to pick it back up on Wednesday. Reporting live tonight, Paris Jones, KOCO 5 News. Back to you.
Okay, Paris, you can just hear that wind whipping around out there. The wind chill is just brutal right now. And locals in Stillwater took it upon themselves to use some construction equipment to go ahead and clear driveways and parking lots for their neighbors. KOCO's Aaron Bew, in fact, met one snowplow operator who says this is his favorite time of year. Aaron joining us live right now. Aaron?
Hey, good evening to you guys. Yeah, I've been in Stillwater all day today. And let me tell you, when I was here about 10:30 this morning, those roads did not look like that. They've definitely got a lot worse, a lot more snow on the ground. But I did catch up with a snowplow operator, and he tells us he loves this weather, and the more snow, the better.
It's been a while.
A while since Tom Harders loaded up his construction equipment and plowed the Oklahoma snow away.
It's better than sitting at home.
Tom says he wants to help the community when we face historic weather like today, instead of watching it all from the comfort of his home.
We're just cleaning parking lots and stuff for the local businesses.
And helping people is what fuels Tom's on cold days like today.
Keeping it open for the public so people can, get to where they need to go.
And even though this is a little different than Tom's normal job,
I've been in the construction trade for pretty much my whole life.
But no matter if he's plowing sod, dirt, or snow, he loves it.
If you enjoy what you're doing, you like it, so it's really not hard.
Now, Tom wanted to remind all other drivers today and tomorrow and the next coming days while we're having this snowstorm to look out for drivers like him. Look out when people are shoveling, when they're plowing, not only for their safety, but for your safety too. Reporting live in Stillwater tonight, Aaron Bew, KOCO 5 News, back to you.
Yeah, officials say you should stay at least 200 feet back. Well, a project that was first started as an effort to help the homeless could be helping save lives during this snowstorm. Coming up, one local woman's effort to demonstrate the Oklahoma standard.
And the snow is still falling tonight across central Oklahoma. Here's another batch moving out of the Panhandle, and more is on the way for Tuesday. The newest snow amounts you can expect the day after tomorrow coming up.
If you have the ability, it is probably best that you try to stay home this week.
Stay home if you can. That message from Oklahoma City's Mayor David Holt. KOCO's Abigail Ogle with the update tonight from the mayor and other city officials during this winter storm warning.
And it's not just about today. If you've been following the weather at all, there are obviously multiple waves of this coming over the following days.
The city is prepared to keep at least one lane of every snow route cleared. There are 23 city snowplows working around the clock.
For this event, we've used 1,506 tons of salt, and we still have 10,000 tons of salt in storage.
At Will Rogers World Airport, airlines canceling dozens of flights. And maintenance crews started clearing snow long before the sun came up.
They've been able to maintain one runway and the associated taxiways and also the ramps so that flights can keep moving at the airport.
Embark buses will run on a reduced schedule tomorrow because of this snow.
Our buses will be on approximately 1 hour frequency, and they'll be running from approximately 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
And the Oklahoma City Animal Welfare telling us they've seen a massive increase in animal cruelty calls as the temperatures continue to drop. Unfortunately, they've already responded to at least one death.
We're receiving about 50 to 60 calls for animal cruelty a day. To put that in perspective, we average about 5 to 6. So we're receiving 10 times the number of animal cruelty calls.
They also say if you have large animals like livestock, they also need more shelter.
If you have a barn area that they can go to, please get them in there. And then also it's important to make sure that they have plenty of water and food. That's what's going to help keep them warm during these times.
Another concern during this cold snap, an increase in the use of natural gas. ONG, Oklahoma Natural Gas, asking everyone, Oklahomans and businesses, to conserve natural gas as much as possible. They say they are prepared for shortages. Abigail Ogle, KOCO 5 News.
Yeah, as long as you're dealing with an air mass like this, yeah, natural gas usage is going to be off the charts. And we're still finding right now snow, fairly light, but it's still with us right now in this cold air mass. And right now the most intense snow band is stretching from Edmond to downtown Oklahoma City down by the airport. It's not all that heavy, but with the wind that we have had today and the snow that has been coming down, we're certainly still seeing our piles. Michael, we've been dealing with snow since essentially 3 o'clock this morning. I know we have some areas that have a lot of snow, some areas that don't have that much snow, but when you look at some of these pictures, I mean, no matter what, 5 inches of snow, 6 inches of snow, it's all difficult to drive in, and these roads are covered. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we're down here on the south side, not too far from I-240. You're down around Southwest 44th Street, and it's really pretty amazing. I mean, every intersection you pretty much come to, you find somebody having to be pushed out who has two-wheel drive vehicle, and I don't know. I'm seeing reverse lights up here, Kyle, up here on the right. So somebody else, as we're driving back, we're driving south right here. Yeah, so we're driving southbound on Shields, and somebody is stuck right down here. You're going to see their vehicle. I can see them with my eye. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a person in a car, and they're stuck right there, and it just happens over and over and over again, and they can't get traction. There's just too much snow. It's been drifting, and now, we'll pull over. We'll see if we can give them a hand, and that's what we've been doing here for the last hour or so, and just anyway, that's the way it's working tonight. And so, I mean, I guess they just depend on people to come around and help, because it's really surprising that as many people are getting out as there are.
Well, yeah, certainly, and we see that picture right there, Michael, and even though the snow is lightening up, the amount of wind that we have is still going to pile this snow up in spots. So I want to show you the radar right now, because the snow continues not only across Oklahoma City, but down the Chickasha. It's beginning to wrap up. There's Mark Fricklin. You can see his picture there on the left-hand side of your television screen from the Grand Casino down towards Pottawatomie County and in towards Seminole County. Still finding the snow, although some drier air is now coming up through Ada. But as we look out to the west, there's another band of snow that's beginning to develop, and that's going to move up to the northeast and will likely drop about nothing more than 1 inch of snow. But certainly some of the snow totals that we have had today have been pretty impressive, and we're going to see another snowstorm in just a few days. In the meantime, take you outside right now and talk a lot about this cold that we have currently across the area. It is 2 above. feels like 20 below zero. Right now, the air temp is -2 in Cherokee, -2 in Woodward, 3 here in Oklahoma City. Right now, wind chill of -20, -22, -25 degrees. That is incredible. So out the door tomorrow morning, wind chills near 30 below zero. Impressive record cold tomorrow. The record low tomorrow is 7 degrees. Our forecast high is 3 degrees. You've never seen this before. That's right. The high temperature will be much colder than the record low temperature. That means at 12:01, we're going to set a new record low. Winter storm watch already in place for Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning, central and western Oklahoma. Looking at about 3 to 6 inches of snow from Elk City to OKC into eastern Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma, 1 to 3 inches of snow out across northern Oklahoma. So by 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, snow is spreading into OKC, Stillwater, Watonga, western and southern Oklahoma, and the snow is just going to continue all Tuesday night into the overnight. And even as we go into early Wednesday morning, we're still going to see the snow falling for northern, central, southern Oklahoma. Another storm system for sure, and even some higher snow totals and some higher snow rates expected by daybreak as you go towards around 6 and 7 a.m. So one more winter storm to deal with, and let's hope this is the last winter storm, but it moves in Tuesday and into Wednesday. Look at the cold. 8 for a high, 10 below zero for a low, 17 on Wednesday, 22 on Thursday with sun. It's going to be a slow thaw until we melt all the snow on the ground. Temperatures are going to be on the chilly side, but we should be able to do it as we go into next week, and those 40s and 50s never look so nice. And you're up to date with the latest First Alert forecast.
Cannot wait for that, Damon. Thanks. And it's always a good time to have our app on your phone. You can track storms, severe weather on the radar when we have it. You'll be able to also get the hour-by-hour forecast, and you'll find snow routes on our app as well. We'll be right back. A local woman's kind heart turned into a project to help those without a home. She started Sandwiches with Love, and it has helped many desperately in need now during this snowstorm. Take a look.
We provide bags of groceries every Monday to people experiencing homelessness, mainly in the downtown Oklahoma City area.
Sandwiches with Love started a little more than a year ago with socks.
My son had bought a whole bunch of new socks and he had a lot of used ones to give away.
Jessica Ann Laster said she went downtown to hand out socks and learned how big the need was.
So many people just appeared literally out of nowhere, saying, do you have food? Do you have water? Our water's frozen.
Laster says she bought some supplies for the group downtown, then asked her friends for help.
Pretty much anything that anybody tells us that they need, we try to provide for them. We've just created a lot of relationships with people in the communities.
Laster and her group feed between 50 and 100 people every Monday. They put some people in hotel rooms to ride out the snowstorm. There are shelters across the metro, but many refuse to go.
A lot of people do not want to leave their belongings, and they are unaware of the severity of the storm. They think, I'm so used to being in Oklahoma weather, it'll pass.
Laster said some feel stigmatized going to a shelter, and they're worried their belongings will be stolen. But staying outside could be deadly.
This is not your typical winter weather. Somebody's sleeping outside overnight in this, they very likely may not wake up the next morning. So please, if you're one of those organizations.
Yeah, unprecedented temps right now in our state. Listen, if you want to help, look up Sandwiches with Love on Facebook. They told us today that they'll likely need volunteers after the snow clears up to help clean up the camps. Well, we want to take a live look outside right now. We are continuing to bring you full team coverage as this storm continues. A snow-covered Oklahoma. We'll be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KOCO 5 News, late edition.
More than 7 inches of snow falling since this storm moved in early this morning. Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Shambach, Chief Meteorologist Damon Lane, and the entire First Alert Storm team. They've been out since early this morning on the streets here in studio, bringing you the very latest. Damon, we still have snow out there, and we're also getting ready to get hit with
And let's hope this is the last snowstorm that we got to deal with. That's coming in on Tuesday. But first off, this snowstorm that we're dealing with right now, it just will not quit. It is still snowing across Oklahoma City here. The wind is blowing, so it's kind of going all over the place. But we're still finding a slightly moderate or slightly heavier snow band right now, extending from Arcadia, Edmond, the Village, downtown Oklahoma City, down by the airport. Not really moving a whole lot. It's just slowly drifting up to the north. And this batch of snow right here should begin to dissipate pretty soon. Let's go to the field meteorologist, Michael Armstrong in Storm Command. Michael, quite a bit of snow today, and it's still falling. And give us an update on what you're seeing.
It is still falling, and the snow is deep, as you can see. There's a lot of snow out here, Damon. And it's drifted quite a bit, and we're seeing a lot of vehicles. I've pushed probably my 6th car out of the snow, and honestly, I could probably just drive around and do this for the next 2 hours, just over and over again. There's just a lot of people that are getting stuck right now. And, the thing as I think about as we go into the overnight, there could be a lot of calls on that because it is so cold out here, and we've talked about it, how you don't want to get stranded out here. And, but nonetheless, we still see a lot of cars out here driving around, and the snow's just too deep. The snow is just too deep in many cases. On some of the main roads, it's all right, but you get off on the side, and it's not great.
Yeah, Michael, those are some pretty deep tire marks going through the snow right here. And I know a lot of us have kind of looked outside today and you're saying, oh, well, we didn't get nearly that much snow. And that's because the snow has just been blowing all over the place. Some of the reports that we have seen have ranged anywhere from, 2 inches all the way up to 8 and 9 inches of snow. But I'll tell you right now, it doesn't snow in Oklahoma for 15 inches or for 15 hours and you only get 2 inches of snow. There's quite a bit of snow. And now that the snow is beginning to settle down, that wind is just blowing what's on the ground all over the place. So you're going to have some really deep spots and some places that are not so deep. But this is pretty much going to be the story, not only for tonight, but even out the door tomorrow morning. That's going to be some pretty decent piles of snow. So still finding the snow across Cleveland County, Grady County. The snow is now wrapping up for now across Chickasha. McLean County won't be long before that wraps up. Pottawatomie to Seminole County. Still finding some snow bands like this one right here that extends from Tecumseh up just into eastern parts of the county and going up towards Seminole. Otherwise, you see some of that drier air coming in towards Wynnewood. That snow is wrapping up, but look right here. Here's another batch of snow that's now making its way into southwestern Oklahoma, Elk City, Sayre. That is going to spread up to the northeast. So we're not done with the snow. More snow as we go into the overnight. We'll keep it more than likely under 1.5 additional inches of snow. But then another snowstorm. Within 48 hours, we're going to see another storm system move in here. The winter storm watch now in place, and how much you can expect to see coming up. Jess?
All right, Damon, here we go again. Take a look at this scene. Boy, this was a terrible scene along the Turner Turnpike near Luther, shut down for several hours today. In fact, the westbound lanes, last check, still closed and should be for at least another hour. The eastbound lanes have opened up. This is an 8-vehicle crash that emergency crews responded to. 4 semi-trucks. And we also know Oklahoma City fire officials saying 4 people were taken to the hospital as well. We know there were other cars involved. Thankfully, no one was killed in this crash, but again, people taken to the hospital. Jones, Luther, Edmond fire departments all responding to that scene to help out OKCFD and the Highway Patrol as well. KOCO 5, of course, bringing you full team coverage of this big freeze, the snowstorm. I want to go out to my co-anchor, Evan Onstad in northwest Oklahoma City. Evan, you've been busy helping drivers get unstuck from the snow there near the Kilpatrick Turnpike and Hefner Parkway.
Since the last time we talked about, a half hour ago, Jess, we've helped 2 more cars. I'm not joking, 2 more cars. And here's the problem. The snow's blowing so much, you'll have what looks like just bare pavement or very little amount of snow. And so people think, okay, well, I can get around here and I can drive this way. But then all of a sudden, they don't realize they're driving into a 3-foot deep snow drift. And for a lot of cars, including the last car, that it was a big SUV, and that one got stuck, and that one took us a while to get out. But here's the thing: it's a lot of people actually have to be out. For example, we're next to a hotel right now in northwest Oklahoma City. This big SUV was basically acting as a car transport from Mercy Hospital to hotels, and so they are having to get people back and forth, and so that's what happens. But yeah, it's been going on all day. I talked to another person earlier today, a nurse from Oklahoma, a nurse from Purcell, excuse me. She was here in Oklahoma City because this is where she works as a nurse, and then stuck around for an extra shift this afternoon, and then got stuck.
So you driving home in the morning then?
No, I'll go to work in the morning
And then,
drive home tomorrow evening, hopefully.
all right.
We'll see.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's hopefully, right? Because we don't really know what exactly this weather is going to end up doing, how the roads are going to act, because it depends on what block you're at. One thing I will say is that, the plows are still out. I'm right next to the Kilpatrick Turnpike, right when it intersects with the Hefner Parkway. Just saw another parade of snow plows going right behind us. I believe it was going from westbound Kilpatrick, and it was taking that big flyover ramp southbound on Hefner on 74. So they're out there working, guys, that's for sure. And they're going to be doing this all night, and it's going to have to happen because this blowing snow, this drifts, it's dangerous. It's dangerous for a lot of people. It's very cold outside. Back to you, Jess.
Absolutely. All right, Evan Onstadt live there along the Kilpatrick. And this weather knocking out power for some, actually right now about 3,600 customers in the state without power. But the campus of OU briefly without it today as well. KOCO's Zach Rael was there.
Yeah, things got a little dangerous there for a second on the campus of OU. The majority of the university and the campus actually lost power, and that created a dangerous situation, especially for the student housing. There were reports of students trapped in the elevators when that power went out. Thankfully, they were able to get those students out fairly quickly, but the power remained out for at least a couple of hours. The university trying to update throughout the afternoon. As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, the university said that the heat had been restored to all of the residential housing, and crews were continuing to work to address a number of issues related to the winter storm. They say that brief intermittent power outages are to be expected, and they say that over the next couple of hours throughout the afternoon, they will work to continue to restore power to the Norman campus. Now, just for some reference here, it's been about 7 degrees for most of the day in Norman, and obviously the rooms without heat and power losing their heat rapidly, so crews working pretty quickly to try and get things going. We did speak with some students who are on campus who gave us their thoughts on the power outage and what they were dealing with. Here's what they had to say.
I live on the 11th floor, so I had to walk all the way down and then all the way up and then back all the way down. And I know the elevators aren't working. There was one that was open on my floor.
We're about to head over to a house that has power, so get some homework done.
And again, the university working to restore that power throughout the day. Reporting from Norman, Zach Rael, KOCO 5 News. Back to you.
Okay, so from Norman, now out east to Shawnee, the snowstorm, Old Man Winter gripping Oklahoma hard. KOCO's Portia Riley with an update on the brutal cold in Pottawatomie County.
Yes, and it is just brutally cold out here, especially as it continues to get darker as we head into the overnight. Now, my photographer James and I have been out here since around 1:30, and things really started picking up around 2:30. The snow just steady ever since then. Another issue that we've been talking about is the visibility. Now, if you look right beyond this fence, you can't really see anything past the other side of the highway. So if you do have to get out in this, just take your time, drive really, really slow. Another issue, you see this blanket of snow on the ground. You completely can't see the lines, and not only that, it's starting to get slick. We've seen a couple smaller cars having a little bit of issues driving through here. So again, if you don't have to get out in this, just stay home, stay safe, and stay warm. In Shawnee, Portia Riley, KOCO 5 News. Back to you.
Yeah, stay home if you can, not just now, but this week. Ahead in 2.5 minutes, a warning tonight from Oklahoma City officials.
if you have the ability, it is probably best that you try to stay home this week.
Stay home if you can this week. That message from Oklahoma City's Mayor David Holt. KOCO's Abigail Ogle with the update from the mayor and other city officials during this winter storm warning.
And it's not just about today. If you've been following the weather at all, there are obviously multiple waves of this coming over the following days.
The city is prepared to keep at least one lane of every snow route cleared. There are 23 city snowplows working around the clock.
For this event, we've used 1,506 tons of salt, and we still have 10,000 tons of salt in storage.
At Will Rogers World Airport, airlines canceling dozens of flights. And maintenance crews started clearing snow long before the sun came up.
They've been able to maintain one runway and the associated taxiways and also the ramps so that flights can keep moving at the airport.
Embark buses will run on a reduced schedule tomorrow because of this snow.
Our buses will be on approximately 1 hour frequency, and they'll be running from approximately 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
And the Oklahoma City Animal Welfare telling us they've seen a massive increase in animal cruelty calls as the temperatures continue to drop. Unfortunately, they've already responded to at least one death.
We're receiving about 50 to 60 calls for animal cruelty a day. To put that in perspective, we average about 5 to 6. So we're receiving 10 times the number of animal cruelty calls.
They also say if you have large animals like livestock, they also need more shelter.
If you have a barn area that they can go to, please get them in there. And then also it's important to make sure that they have plenty of water and food. That's what's going to help keep them warm during these times.
Another concern during this cold snap, an increase in the use of natural gas. ONG, Oklahoma Natural Gas, asking everyone, Oklahomans and businesses, to conserve natural gas as much as possible. They say they are prepared for shortages. Abigail Ogle, KOCO 5 News.
Right now, I want to take you live to breaking scene along I-44 near Southwest 29th. Yet another multi-car crash. Our Storm Command, Michael Armstrong, just rolled up on this one. Michael, just tell me what you're seeing there.
Well, this is unfortunately, it looks like an injury accident. IMSA is on the scene here. There you see fire. There's multiple vehicles here that are involved, and they're talking to the occupants of that vehicle. You can see firefighters right there speaking with them. So it looks like maybe 2 or 3 vehicles and a lot of debris right here on I-44. That is I-44 coming up northbound toward I-40 right here at 29th Street. Back to you.
All right, Michael Armstrong live on the scene there, and this is exactly why you heard our mayor say, if you don't need to get out, stay home. We're live with more coverage after this.
It is 10:48 on the Sunday night, and guess what? It is still snowing. I know, right? Hard to believe that this storm that moved in here early this morning at about 3 a.m., and we're still seeing the snow falling across Oklahoma City. Not very heavy, but the snow continues. And just given some of these snow totals that we have seen across the area today, this is going to add up to another about a half inch or so. The snow has just been very weird today, though. It is so cold. It's a fine snow. It's been blowing all over the place. You might look outside and you're saying, I don't have that much snow. I only have 2 inches of snow. And then somewhere else, you got about 9 inches of snow. So at my house, 8 inches. Here at the TV station, about 7 inches of snow. We've had lots of 7, 8 inch snow totals. And then a few other areas we've noticed much less. But while the snow has been kind of all over the place with our totals, the reason being is because it's blowing, and we're really seeing the impacts of that now on what it's doing to the streets. We've got the field meteorologist Michael Armstrong and Storm Cam. Michael, we saw earlier you're on the scene of that accident. Give us an update now on how the roads look here late this Sunday night.
Okay, yeah. And by the way, on that accident, as we got further up there and kind of got past it after the state troopers got on the scene, we were kind of helping draw attention to it with our strobe lights. By the way, someone ran into the back of a snowplow. So there was at least 3 or 4 vehicles involved, one of them being a snowplow, Damon. So, you know, while it looks pretty good and you kind of got one lane that's cleared, the snowplows are still out trying to clear more. So please leave them plenty of space as you're out and about if you do have to get out. If not, the best thing to do is stay home, stay warm. Back to you.
And Michael, we see these snow drifts here on the side of the road, and so those are certainly tall in some places. And then where you don't see the snow drifts, you can see that snow kind of blows itself out across the street. So yeah, what you see right here, there's a very good chance that this is what you can expect the morning to be as well. While you're going to have some spots of the roads that look all right, you're also going to have some areas where the snow is going to be pretty deep, especially on your neighborhood streets, those side streets, and those access roads. So the snow continues across Cleveland County, Pottawatomie County. That snow's not going to be with you that much longer. We can see some of that drier air now lifting up to the north. But as we go out to the west, here's another band of snow that's now making its way in from Sayre, Eric, as you go up towards Elk City. And that's going to spread up to the northeast and likely drop about another half inch of snow. So certainly some more accumulating snowfall. Then we'll get a bit of a lull. And then we're going to do it all over again the day after tomorrow. And let's hope that is the last winter storm we have to deal with. So in the meantime, take you outside because it is brutal. 2 degrees, feels like 19 below zero. Air temp is 3 in Oklahoma City, 1 in Perry, 3 in Stillwater. Then you factor in the winds, and right now it feels like 19 below in Oklahoma City, feels like 22 below in Ponca City, and it's going to feel even worse tomorrow at 10 a.m. It will feel like almost 30 degrees below zero. This is the most dangerous cold that you're probably ever going to experience here in Oklahoma. As we go into tomorrow afternoon, wind chills are still 10 below zero. And then we go into Tuesday morning and wind chills are still 10 to 20 below zero. Cold to start Tuesday, and then we're going to bring in another round of snow. But talking about this cold, this is a stat that I have never seen before. The record low temperature tomorrow is 7 degrees. The forecast high is 3 degrees. You're reading this right. Our high temperature is going to be colder than the coldest low temperature that we've ever had. So by midnight, so in about the next hour and 10 minutes, we will set a new record low for tomorrow. Tuesday afternoon, going into Wednesday, winter storm watch will likely be upgraded to a winter storm warning by tomorrow morning to account for yet another wave of snow. Right now, we're going to go about 3 to 6 inches of snow for Elk City, Clinton, Oklahoma City, up to the northeast and in southern Oklahoma, and then 1 to 3 inches out across the north and northwest. So the snow quickly moves in here by Tuesday mid-afternoon. By 4 o'clock, the snow is coming into OKC, Guthrie, western, southern Oklahoma. And similar to this event, once the snow begins, it is going to snow a while. The only difference is that this comes in the afternoon, and then we're going to see a lot of snow during the overnight. And then as we go into early Wednesday, the snow is still going to be falling. By 6:30 Wednesday morning, snow for pretty much northern, western, central, and southern Oklahoma. And then it begins to wrap up as we go into the afternoon. So one more winter storm to deal with, but look at this cold as well. 10 below zero Tuesday morning, a high on Wednesday of 17. As long as the snow is on the ground, we're going to have some pretty chilly forecasts ahead of us. Even with the sunshine, we're going to need that sunshine to really help melt the snow. We don't get above freezing until Sunday. So tomorrow will be day number 7, where temperatures have been below freezing. Number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, 12. we're going to get very close. If we could get Sunday below freezing, we would tie a record for the longest stretch where temperatures have been below freezing. But it looks like Sunday we'll make it above freezing here. Then we go into next week. Hey, let's keep warming up. And you can't see it here, but on days number 12, if we melt all the snow, we could very well see the 70s. And you're up to date with the latest First Alert forecast.
That would be amazing. Best news I've heard all day. Damon, thank you. Make sure you have our app on your phone. If you have to get out, you can check live traffic conditions. You can check the city's snow routes on the app as well and get your hour-by-hour forecast. We'll be back. Well, throughout the day, we've seen a lot of blowing snow across roadways, parking lots. KOCO's Christine Stanwood traveled up I-35 to Enid. She joins us now with what conditions are like there just north of the metro.
Yeah, and up north, we're in Enid, Oklahoma, where we really haven't dealt with too many problems. What we have seen, though, is blowing snow as we were making our way up here from Oklahoma City up to Enid. We also saw a few people who were out walking by themselves in the elements, especially with that really intense wind. And another big problem that we saw, we actually had to help somebody, was when people were trying to turn in the left turn lanes, they were getting stuck because those parts of the road were just untreated. The good news to report, though, I just checked in with EMS here in Enid. They said that there's been no vehicle accident reports, no cold